I believe that after following the last 4 video, you guys have understood that how open source project exactly work. Now it's time to find out a project to contribute. So if you are never contributed to an open source before, take some advice from US President John Fentley. Once he said, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. So this is the thing you have to keep in mind when you want to contribute in any open source project. So with that motive, we're going to go ahead into this video. So contributing to open source project happen at all levels. You don't need to overthink what exactly your contribution will be or how it will look. Instead, start by thinking about the project you already use in your day-to-day life. The project you actively contribute are the ones you find yourself coming back over and over again. Within those projects, whenever you catch yourself thinking that something could be better or different, act upon that instantly. That's the opportunity for you to contribute in that project. So open source isn't an exclusive club. It's made by people just like you. Open source is just a fancy term for treating the world's problem as fixable. You can scan a README file and find a broken link or a typo, or you are a new user and you notice something is broken or an issue that you can think should be really be in that documentation. So instead of ignoring and moving on or asking someone else to fix it, see whether you can help out by pitching it. So that's what open source is all about. According to the study conducted by agro and the computer science researchers, what they have found that 28% of casual contribution to an open source documentation, such as typo fix, reformatting, or writing translations. So if you are looking for existing issue you can fix, every open source project has a contribute page that highlight beginner friendly issue you can start. Navigate to the main page of the repository on GitHub and add contribute at the end of the URL, for example, just like this. You can also use one of the following resources to help you discover and contribute new project. Like just simply go to the GitHub, explore open source Friday, first timer only, code tiger, 24 pull requests, up for grab, first contribution, source sort, open squared. So these are the couple of examples which I have given to all of you guys, which you can have a look and try to understand the architecture, which you can easily able to fix, and these are the beginner friendly. So now you have got the idea that what are the things which you have to keep in mind and how you can simply contribute and find a project. Now let's talk about the quick checklist which you have to keep in mind before you start contributing into the project. So here I have a checklist for all of you which you guys can have a look before you start to become a contributor. So first thing we have in the list is that meet the definition of open source. Does it have license? Usually there is a file called license in the root of the repository if it's open source. That's the first checklist. The second checklist you have to focus in that project actively accept contributions. There you have to focus on few things. First thing you have to focus is that when was the last commit. The second thing you have to focus that how many contributors does the project have, and the third one is that how often do people commit into that project. So these are the three checklists you have to do in the contribution. Once you're done with that, now you have to look on the project issue, that what are the issue project has. So how many open issues are there, because they have the forum where the users are asking about the issue in the repository. So ask about, check the open issue. Then do maintainer response quickly to issue when they are open. So whenever someone is maintaining the repository, they respond to that particular error. That's the second check you have to do. The third check you have to do is that is there active discussion on that issue. The fourth check you have to do is that are the issue is recent. And the last one you have to focus that are issues getting closed or not. So once you do all of these 5 check, then you have to move to the next level, and where you have to focus on the project pull request. In that you have to focus few things, that how many pull requests are there. Like do maintainer response quickly to pull requests when they are open? Is there active discussions on the pull request? Are the pull requests recent? How recently were a pull request merged? So you have to understand all of this 5 points. Once you understand about the project issue, then move to the pull request, and that you have to cover all of this 5. Once you're done with that, after that you have to look at the project welcoming. because not all the open source will have a welcoming to the new contribution. So you have to look up at their guidelines. In that, you have to do 4 check. So first check is that do maintain a response helpful to question in the issue. That's the first one. After that, you have to focus on the are people friendly in the issue, discussion forum and chat. Then you have to focus on the do pull requests get review. Do maintainer thanks people for their contribution. That's the welcome thing you have to focus on. So these are the few things you have to focus before you start contributing. I gave you the couple of lists. Make sure to do the check of all those open source projects and must follow this checklist before you contribute. Check all this checklist and after that start working around this open source. So with that, I'm done with this particular topic, that how you can find a project to contribute. Hope you guys have got an understanding that what architecture you have to follow and how you have to proceed ahead before you actually write a single piece of code or do any contribution in the project. With that, I'm going to move to the next video. In that, we're going to learn about that how you can submit your contribution, because that's a very important topic which you have to know. With that, let's move to the next video.